Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmartMatch TV. Today, I have an amazing guest, Meghann Novinskie. And Meghann is a founder and the main head trainer at Meghann Novinskie Consulting. And guess what? Today, we're going to learn something we haven't maybe practiced or learned in a long time, which is the mastery of the art of the empathetic persuasion. Okay? Sales made simple, in another word. And I just can't wait to learn amazing story and amazing tips, especially this time of the year. I think it's going to be super useful for all of our matchmakers, for all of our clients who are in the service business, how to improve and master the art of sales and art of persuasion. Meghann, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tim. Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And like I said, I am so excited to just discover your story. Meghann, I would love to start by asking you the main question. Matchmaking industry, which is our industry, is not the biggest industry in the world, but the most exciting industry, in my opinion. You know, it's growing so fast, and we have new and new matchmakers starting businesses every single day. More clients coming to the matchmaking industry, looking for matchmaking services. So it creates dynamics that obviously require skills like sales, marketing, running businesses, running operations, and all of those skills are required highly. That's why I'm so excited to have you today here. How did you personally get into matchmaking industry?
Well, Tim, it's a little bit of a funny story. I wanted to be a marriage counselor when I was in college. I have always had the gift of getting people to consider outside what they've considered themselves, persuading them to think outside their own world and their own ideas. I studied psychology at university, and just before I applied to graduate school, I got a job as a salesperson at a dating service in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I kicked off my career in my early 20s doing sales for one of the big box firms, and my career launched from there. Now, I haven't been a matchmaker for about 11 years, but that's where I got my start.
You got started in sales for a dating service.
Correct.
All right. And then you became a matchmaker too. Did you actually do matchmaking?
Yes, they had us sell and match. And that was part of the reason why I decided to launch my own matchmaking firm after about 5 years of working there. I found that it was too hard to juggle both matching clients and keeping them happy and trying to make my quota. So I thought, you know what, I can do this a lot better. So myself and 3 business partners launched a firm in 2009, and we were acquired by a much more established firm in 2014. And by consultancy, Meghann Novinskie Consulting, where I train matchmakers and coaches how to sell, was born out of that acquisition.
That acquisition. So right after that acquisitions, you realized, and I'm pretty sure that was because of you actually were a matchmaker, running a matchmaking business, connecting with other matchmakers, working with other matchmakers, you realize that this is a much needed component of the business, and probably very frequently lacking, especially for the beginner matchmakers. Am I right? Or it may probably even for established matchmakers. It's like never ending learning. I think experience.
I do think that sales is a skill, just like a muscle. You constantly have to exercise it. You constantly have to polish your efforts and what you do in sales, because the marketplace is always changing. And I have a tiny little fear that some matchmakers and coaches who are still selling like they did either pre-pandemic or even 3 or 4 years ago, those tactics are just not as effective anymore. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here today, because a lot has changed in the last few years.
That fast, right? It's literally that how fast everything is changing. So we better get into that, right? I spend more time on this as much as possible. How do you help right now? How do you help matchmakers and other service business? I know you work also with service businesses, therapists, and also anyone in the service business, real estate, right? What are some of the other industries you are working with as well?
Yeah, it's anyone who's selling hope or selling an idea. So that's going to be Matchmakers is my bread and butter, if you will. Dating coaches, life coaches, therapists, realtors, people selling fitness training, gym owners, those types of people. But at any given time, about 85 to 90% of my client base are matchmakers and dating coaches.
And it's nice because you probably learned different angles in those different industries, and you probably like an alchemist, you probably constantly look at new formulas or like what works in one industry. Can you experiment with that in the other industry? I'm pretty sure that's like probably like you will benefit all of these industries by cross-referencing what works, what doesn't work, right?
Yes, because the overarching theme with my clients, who are sometimes they're business owners and sometimes they're salespeople who work for larger companies, but the one thing that all of them have in common is that they want to help their clients either date better, meet more relationship-minded people, improve their lives in some way. So I rewrite the core values of my company every single year. And the one that I keep going back to year after year is it's our responsibility to inspire our leads to invest in themselves. And so how this relates to matchmakers is matchmakers will come to me just loving helping their clients and wanting to meet them where they are and wanting them to actualize what they're looking for in a long-term partnership. And so matchmakers and salespeople at matchmaking companies often love. They love to help. But sometimes we can forget that we have to close new business in order to keep the wheels on the bus and keep our companies moving forward. And so truly my honor to help matchmakers sell their services more effectively and feel like they can sell with heart and feel like they can sell in their own communication style and not with some type of forced sales training or always be closing like we were taught back in the day.
And a few movies come to my mind.
Likewise.
You know those movies, what
I do.
Boiler Room or whatever.
Watch them all.
Yeah, watch them all, right? Me too. Those are, I guess, good learning what not to do.
Good foundation, to be fair.
What not to do, right?
Yeah.
I would love to continue on this topic. So let's talk about what kind of problems you help your clients solve. What are the typical problems they come to you with? And then let's talk about how you actually solve them. What are the most interesting techniques or structures you give them?
I'd say there are three main ways that matchmakers come to me needing help. And I'll say date coaches as well, because their work is so similar. With matchmakers who are just getting started, they often have an influx of leads because people that have these beautiful websites set up and social media teams helping them get leads from all over. So they often come to me a year or two into business and say, I'm getting 100 leads a month, but I'm closing one. Please help me with my conversion rate. Or I have so many leads to work that I feel like I need to hire salespeople to follow up with all the leads that are coming into my company. I'm letting leads slip. I don't have time to follow up. So the second thing that they hire me for, in addition to helping them increase their conversion rate, is creating a simple follow-up process for old leads. I always say that the companies that make great money versus the companies that do well, companies that make great money are following up with old leads. They are not just relying on new leads coming in the door through social media, through their website. They are going back to prospects that said, not now, or timing's a bit off, or I need to save up to hire you. So implementing a really simple follow-up process is a game changer for a lot of my clients. The third way that I help matchmakers and coaches is in helping them hone in on what to sell. Some matchmakers and date coaches think that the way to increase their revenue is to create new product after new product after new product. And the reality is it's too much to juggle. And if you can't stand out in the marketplace, which you and I know is growing so much, you have to be known for something. You have to be really, really good at what you do. So what I help clients do, the third thing, is either paring down their products or honing in on exactly what they should be selling so that they're not constantly thinking of something else to offer all the leads that are coming in, help streamline things and relieve burnout, really.
Yeah. So if I can summarize it, these are all I think they're applicable pretty much to any business, but luckily you have a specialized approach for specialized industry, which probably can like speed up the whole process of learning, because you have it for them, literally, like for matchmaking, business, like all like laid out. But here's the three things that I got from you. First of all, the new clients coming in increase the conversion rate, like literally in the beginning of the process, right? Like the most you can get out of your first calls. Is that it? Like the ones that are just coming into your pipeline, into your door, and how to maximize conversion of like those ones that just literally new to your pipeline, in your pipeline, right?
Exactly. Creating a simple flow sales process from lead generation to closing. So many matchmakers, even ones that have been in business for 10, 15, 20 years, wing it on sales calls, as we say, and that's just not an effective strategy for business growth.
The second issue is once they're already in your pipeline and you did a sales call with them or demo or onboarding call, what happens next, right? So the follow-up system.
Correct. It can be simple. And you and I both know as veteran salespeople, we can't use that phrase, I'm here to follow up. So I teach my clients effective ways to follow up in an authentic way that is, again, simple and proven.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. Maybe if you are going to be sharing some of the...
I will.
Yeah. And we will go into each one of them, everyone. So stick around. We'll be actually maybe getting some specific examples. That's what I hope. And then the third one, obviously, so you have the first is the entry point. The second one is the follow-up system, right? These are the would you say the most important parts of it, or?
I would, yes.
Okay. So let's start with the first one.
Sure.
Let's make it as practical as we can without like making it, very, how can I say that? Very specific, without giving any names or anything. Just let's say, you have a client, and how do you proceed?
Yes. If a matchmaker or a date coach is struggling with their conversion rate, meaning the amount of leads that they are converting into clients is lower than they feel like it could be or should be, the first thing that I do is implement a sales process that's super simple and effective through a script system. Now, there are some sales trainers out there that will tell you scripts never work. You can't say the same things to every single person coming in. However, I've been in the industry now for 21 years, and there are 3 or 4 reasons why people reach out to matchmakers and date coaches. And so my system will speak to those different life stages and pain points. I almost said price points. Always thinking about sales. So the different life stages and pain points, and the consultation structure is one of the most important things to perfect, because we really do get that one shot to make an impression on our leads. And what I'm finding in the industry as a whole is it's growing so much. I mean, I sit on the onboarding committee of the Matchmakers Alliance, and every single week there are people applying to join the membership who barely have a business plan or a website. So there's a lot of people moving in. So it's important to stand out. And so your sales consultation, meaning when a lead comes into your website or inquires on social media and says, I think I'm interested in hiring you, and I don't know in what way, the structure of that initial call is absolutely pivotal to have effective, persuasive, but we also need to be really mindful of meeting our leads exactly where they are and not forcing them into considering a solution that seems totally out of whack. So a couple core pieces of my consultation, if I may share just high-level details, is I like to kick those consultations off with an agenda. It's important to establish yourself as the person that's going to be the driver of the conversation and of the sales cycle. Now, why that's important now versus a few years back when we could just get away with being, the matchmaker that got the most awards last year, or we've got a few different seals on our website saying we won Best Matchmaker of 2017, that used to be the way for us to get in the door and build trust with our leads. Unfortunately, that's not enough anymore. Starting your consultation off with an agenda establishes expertise, authority in a gentle way. It also allows your leads to relax into the conversation and be themselves because they know they can trust that you'll lead the conversation. Second piece of an effective consultation is any sales trainer will tell you that getting to the root of pain points is really important. However, with matchmakers and date coaches, it's a bit more nuanced because we're not looking to fix the muffler on someone's car or, buy delicious apple pie at the grocery store for Thanksgiving next week. What it is taking that problem that the leads are having or your prospects are having in their dating life and uncovering why they're having that problem, how long they've had that problem, and then the feeling behind what that problem is triggering in them. So in sales and in any type of persuasion, internal conflict is what produces the motivation to make change. So as salespeople, matchmakers, and date coaches, it's our responsibility to drum up a little bit of that internal conflict. The best way to do that is at the very beginning of your call after the agenda, asking people what their current situation is in dating on their own, what's not going well, why they're seeking help, and then taking that problem and highlighting it, getting a really good idea of the timeline, how long they've had that problem, and then again, the emotions that they have around that time, that specific problem that they're having, and how long they've felt that way. That can be really impactful in terms of internal conflict, which inspires change.
Amazing. Yeah, it reminds me this the agenda piece. It reminds me of long time ago. I was training also salespeople, not in the matchmaking industry, but in the technical industry actually.
Right.
It's like what they called it upfront contract. It's like the feeling when you walk into like a dentist's office and they say, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this today, that, this, and that, and this. So it's sort of preparing you for the whole what's gonna happen today, like removing that anxiety, right? Anxiety from the whole process. Like we're gonna do this.
Exactly. And matchmakers and date coaches, we are so specialized. And hopefully you've defined your niche and exactly who you want to serve. That's step one before you start selling services.
So many niches,
There are. And so, if you were to walk into, let's say, plastic surgeon's office and you sat down in their chair and you said, what can you do to my face to make me more attractive? And they just said, you need a nose job, you need a Botox, you need facelift, you got this going on. And they just rattled off what they think that I need. I might be personally offended.
Yeah.
And similarly with matchmakers, they sit down in our office, virtual or otherwise, and say, I've got this problem. Please help me with what's going on. So what's more effective is to hand them the mirror and say, tell me exactly what's going on. How that's making you feel. How long have you felt that way? Just like I'm sitting with a plastic surgeon, they hand you literally a mirror and say, tell me what you don't like in your appearance, and let me see if I can help you with that. What's the saying? A diagnosis without full thinking it through is just malpractice. It's important to really understand exactly what's going on in order to make a recommendation. And all a recommendation is an invitation to invest in your services.
Correct. It's a discovery process, basically.
Correct.
And so how many times when you work with your clients in matchmaking industry or other industries that's like completely ignored in their process? Is this often?
More often than not. And this isn't just an issue that I see with new matchmakers. It's matchmakers that have been in the industry for 10, 15, 20 years sometimes. They go straight to assuming that their leads are frustrated, or because they're a certain age, they want to have a family, or because they've been divorced for a short period of time, they need help with X, Y, and Z. And we simply cannot assume or judge who we're speaking to. To be able to speak effectively to buyers in 2025, it's important to understand exactly where they are and how their issue is making them feel.
They're skipping the discovery process. Or making it very minimalistic, I suppose, right? Trying to get through this. Breeze through this as fast as possible.
Breeze through it because they got to move on to the next thing. Or they love their product so much that they pitch too soon. That's another thing that I work on with my clients in really deep detail. And this is With my private training clients who work with me one-on-one for 90 days, we spend a lot of time making sure that the bulk of their call is the prospects speaking about their situation and what they ultimately want, instead of spending 15, 20 minutes explaining your services, what you do, why you're good at it, and why it's effective. We simply can't spend a lot of time on that. It has to be, 75, 80% your prospects speaking to you as opposed to you
You're
pitching
speaking to the
services.
prospects, right?
Pitching too soon is the deal killer, if you ask me.
We used to say like you don't have to do the sales if you did a good job
Correct, exactly.
because the sales starts from clients talking and explaining you their life,
Yes.
sometimes their life story, and they're from there. So yeah, it's very powerful. I can attest to that, as like you said, the sales profession veteran. I mean, maybe already 30 something years I've been in the business of talking to people and helping people. I like to think helping more than closing, but helping people to me is what sales is about. It just sometimes has a bit of a connotation like sales, like what are you trying to sell me? What are you selling me? I remember I would get those questions. What are you selling? Tell me what you got. What are you selling? I'm like, sir, I don't know yet if I'm selling you. I'm just trying to help you. And that opened doors for me all the time.
That's the key piece of probably everything that we'll talk about today, and definitely everything that I cover in my group sales training next month. It's about understanding if you can represent them, and if so, in what capacity, not how can you help them. We have no idea upon receiving a lead from our website or social media whether we can help them or not. So if you approach those calls with let me see if I can help this person. And when you uncover that you can, then you develop in what capacity? What does that look like?
So by implementing just this piece, which is the initial sales call improvements, with your system, what kind of numbers do you see? What kind of KPIs you see as of just this piece? I think huge, but I'm just curious,
Well, it's a twofold process. So it's not only developing the script, but what I also do with my clients is then listen back to their calls. Now, the process of reviewing calls is really the one in working that sales muscle that we talked about a couple minutes ago. Learning a new script and memorizing it isn't enough. Unfortunately, we have to listen back to our delivery, our verbal pacing, strategic pausing, and when we invite our leads to invest in our services, exactly how that delivery landed. So I do a lot of call review with my clients. And while we're on that topic, I can share the 3 different ways that I listen to my clients' calls in order to see if they're effective or not. A lot of people like to outsource this and have me do it for them, but it's certainly something that a matchmaker who's new in the industry or someone that doesn't have time to hire a trainer could do on their own. So the first way, first of all, you have to record your calls. Now, check with your local jurisdiction to make sure that it's legal for you to record the call. And also, if you need 2-party consent, so meaning you need to tell your leads or prospects that you're recording the call for training purposes, get their consent. Once you have that, hit record. Do the entire call. And then when you go to listen back, you want to check for 3 different pieces really of the call to see if it's effective or not. So first, you want to take a look at yourself on video, and were you giving, visual cues that you're paying attention? When you're not asking questions, you want to tilt your head at maybe 15 degrees just to show that you're concerned or you're listening. You want to freely use your hands and seem relaxed on the call. So you want to take a look at how you appear visually. The second thing to look at as far as call effectiveness goes is turn the video off and just listen to yourself and how you deliver information and how you ask questions. What you want to be listening for is change in tonality. You want to oscillate between a curious tone, a concerned tone, and just being extremely clear in your communication. I find that less words is definitely more effective than over-explaining. The third way that you want to do feedback on your calls is to cover up the visual and the audio and just read the transcript. So there are some AI tools that you can use in recording your calls that will pull out all the ums and likes and and see how often you say it. Now, those are they're called filler words, but sometimes filler words can be replaced by a simple pause. So there's lots of different ways that I teach in my processes and methods to eliminate them. But those are the three things that you want to look at on every single call, or maybe listen to the same 5 minutes of your call over and over just to make sure that it's effective.
One of the most painful experiences still for me to listen
It's the
to
worst.
myself or to look at myself, even on the podcast. Like, you do things on the podcast you don't realize, like you close your head, you scratch your head, and you're like, really? Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
Right. Yep.
It's very powerful. Yeah. I remember I was taking acting classes back in the day, and then when I did coaching, when I coached my clients, I said to them, one of the best things you can do is maybe just go take an acting class. Crazy discovery, self-discovery process.
I wholeheartedly agree. Any salesperson that I've ever trained who previously was an actor or was acting part-time on the side are some of the best salespeople out there.
Seriously,
That's
yeah.
a great
It
tip.
forces you to be extremely mega self-aware.
Yes.
It's like you can't hide, like how you talk. Also, like if you don't talk loud enough, if you talk more like inside instead of outside, how you deliver, like you said, the clarity of your message, it's very important, and that's so you catch those as well, like how many times can you say that? It's just annoying sometimes when I look at myself, so yeah, amazing. And so if they implement this, if they follow this, what kind of results do you see, so like our viewers can like get an idea like what the KPIs could be?
Yeah. For clients that work with me in my one-on-one sales training, most of them are either doubling their revenue within those 90 days. And I have a handful of clients that have 5 to 10x their revenue after that period of time.
After
Now,
90 days?
Yes.
So for example, they get like, I'm just giving an idea. They get 100 leads and they close one, like you said, as an example, and I guess this example comes from a real life. It's 1 to 100. I can understand that. And then they are at 5 all of a sudden,
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. Because I think when I got started in sales, someone told me, I'm not a natural born salesperson. I don't have the gift of gab. And I simply think that's untrue. Sales is just a skill. It's just like learning how to play basketball or how to knit. It's the same thing. You have to learn. But the only way to get really good at it is to practice. So if you don't have a sales trainer by your side or on your retainer, then you want to practice with yourself, record yourself, listen back, spend at least 2 hours every single week in taking a look at your sales and seeing what you can improve. Sometimes it makes sense to listen to people that teach public speakers how to speak better, because they'll teach you about verbal pausing and pacing and things like that. So there's so many tools out there that you can use, but it is important to regularly address it and regularly audit your sales process. Otherwise, especially this year and the upcoming year, you'll get left in the dust.
Why? What are the trends? What are the issues that you're seeing right now?
I just presented at the Matchmakers Alliance annual conference, and the topic that I spoke on at that conference was how to sell in a trust recession. I have this belief that we're in a trust recession, and what that was born out of is truly information overload. Your prospects and leads this day and age are going to not just Google to check you out, but also ChatGPT. And a lot of people, especially people that are date coaches as their main form of service, a lot of that information is out there on the internet for free on social media. And so it's important when you get one of your prospects on the phone and you have the opportunity to speak them at length, face-to-face, over Zoom, or however you do your calls, we have to break in and give them a human experience. And everything has to feel unscripted. Now, the scripts that I write for my clients, they are scripts, but they're written in an authentic voice, and they're there to give structure and guidance. Structured flexibility is the path forward in sales. Understanding what pieces of your sales scripts that you have to say and what points you have to get across so that you can allow your leads to consider a different possibility and consider a different method to meet new people.
I love it. I love that's how you phrase it, especially talking about your presentation in Alliance. I just want a plus, double plus, triple plus on this one, because how you framed it is just genius. Like the bridge between the authority, empathy.
Yes.
And it's such an important point, because empathy is important, but only empathy is not enough.
Exactly. And we can't fall too far on the side of too much empathy, because then we seem like we're just a good friend that's going to hug it out with them at the end of the call and wish them well.
You know where that goes, right?
In the call, and the best salespeople that I've trained and that I've gotten to know when to turn empathy into compassion. And that means you take the feelings that they're having and lead and give them direction as to what the next step is. So that transition from one to the other is super important. And without authority, unfortunately, your sales cycle is going to be months long as opposed to a few days. So
100%.
they both have to be there.
It's so important. It's so important and paramount, I would say, because again, I'm going to draw a parallel to a medical profession. You don't want to be going to an office of someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And to know that they know what they're doing, you got to get that authority, So you have to have that established first. I think it's like so important, right?
Yes. And authority, unfortunately, is no longer the award that you got, or you have a 96% success rate. People just don't believe that anymore. So the trust and the authority has to come from asking your leads really thoughtful questions and then clarifying when they give you a response.
So it's really happening in the sales process, in that first literally interview or the discovery call, one-on-one.
And I'd wager within the first 10 minutes, they're going to make a decision whether they're going to hire you or not.
Okay, can we unpack that? Like what? Even if we don't cover your whole entire,
Sure.
people can reach out to you. This is what we're here. We will.
Yeah.
There'll be links in the, to the website. I highly recommend you guys click it, go and book yourself a call with Meghann, because double, triple, 5x your conversion process is worth it. It's the same marketing spans. Like you literally just take the same leads that you have, but triple your conversion rate. It's just no brainer to me.
And that is one thing that I wanted to leave your audience and your listeners with today is I don't necessarily believe that getting more leads and improving your marketing and your lead gen is the way to up your bottom line and develop more revenue. If you have a good amount of leads already coming in, let's have you convert who's already coming into your world. Yeah. For matchmakers and coaches that are selling high ticket programs, anything really from $5,000 up, and I have some clients that are selling $150,000, $200,000 memberships. We only need to close a few more people each month or each year in order to really impact our year-end numbers. So many people think about, I need to make more money, I need more marketing, I need more leads. Let's just have you take the leads that are already coming in and work them more thoroughly, and then take the leads that have previously inquired with you and re-engage them. And
I bet you, if you have the process, and I can bet anything on this, if you have the process, like your process, you can absolutely enjoy the process. And I'm sure, like when you have a system, it's so much more enjoyable. You feel more relaxed. And it's authentic. It's still authentic. It's not hard closing, It's not pushing anyone to do anything they don't want to do, It's helping them in the authentic, empathetic way to discover if and how the problem can be solved.
Exactly. There's one more thing I wanted to mention just on the heels of that, and it's active listening. So many matchmakers are solopreneurs or have a lean team, right? Maybe you're both the salesperson and the person delivering the services. Now, what that means is you've got a lot to get done every single day when you're sitting in your office or sitting at your desk. And so we tend to want to speed up our consultations and get through it so we can quickly pitch our product and convince them that we're the solution for them. But the reality is we can only ask really thoughtful and impactful questions when we're actively listening to what our leads are saying. So I know I'm sitting here saying that a script system is one of the best ways to easily increase your revenue and your conversion rate. However, a script is also effective because you can just lean on that. And when you're in a consultation and you're not exactly sure what to ask next, or not sure what the next piece of the puzzle is in terms of persuasion, you can quickly look down to your script, but that allows you to relax and actually listen to what your leads are saying. thoughtful questions only come out of listening, and we can't look at a script and just rattle off 50 questions. We'll never get there. So having the ability to really listen to your leads, like I said, actively listen to them and ask thoughtful follow-up questions and clarifying questions really is the way to build that trust with whoever you're speaking with.
Can you give us an example of listening, active listening techniques or framework? Just an example. I know we don't have a lot of time, but just an example. Because already someone is going to walk out of here with a bunch of interesting tips that they can apply today. And for more, they can come and ask you.
I hope so. So one way that I like to have all of my clients, be it private training clients or clients in my group's sales training program, learn is what I call situation questions. So at the very beginning of the call, after you state your agenda, why you're there, and what you're hoping to get out of the conversation, situation questions allow you to unpack exactly where they are and how they're feeling about their current situation and having trouble meeting the right people. So how there's 5 or 6 questions that are kind of the core ones that I teach all of my clients. And it's, how are you meeting people now? How's that going for you? Why did you decide to meet people with that method? How long have you been using that method? What are the results from that method? How's that method making you feel? How long have you felt that way? I mean, maybe that's not 5, maybe it's like 12 questions that are kind of the core foundation of a lot of scripts I build. Having those in your script and memorizing them, knowing that you need to get through each layer of those situation questions allows you to actively listen. So when your leads are saying to you, I'm meeting people through swiping, I'm dating on both Bumble and Hinge. Now, if you were to just jump to the next question on your script, you might say, how's that going for you? That's not really a super thoughtful question. What I train my clients to say is, okay, so you chose Hinge out of all the apps that are out there. Why did you choose that method? Why did you choose that as the app to go to? Now, sometimes leads are going to say, because my friend told me to do it, or there wasn't a lot of thought and intention. But what reframing that question does is it allows your leads and prospects to get into the habit of remembering that they have control in this process. They went to the App Store on their iPhone and downloaded that specific app opposed to the 75 million others available. So when you remind them that they have the ability to shift the outcome of what they want in this entire endeavor, and they are intentionally choosing an app that just everybody else is doing, let's remind them that they have agency and they can make a difference in the outcome by choosing a different method to meet people. So that kind of starts to train your leads, but also allows you to understand, how passive are my potential clients going about this? Did they choose this very specific niche app for a reason, or did they do it just because it was the #1 dating app in the App Store that day? Let's just find out where they are and then build our follow-up questions from there.
It's a conversation.
Correct. Yes.
And it looks like it's open-ended question. So it's so natural. So it's basically very close to a natural conversation you would have with your friend or a family member. It's never yes or no, like this kind of, it's like, just, you genuinely want to know something about your friend, right? Yeah.
There's one caveat though, Tim, and I'll share this with you that's super important. Matchmakers hear the same thing in almost every consultation they have. And if you've been in the industry for 6 months to 6 years, 16 years, 60 years, we hear a lot of the same things. So it's natural for salespeople and matchmakers and date coaches to think like, they just chose Hinge because it was the #1 dating app that day when they decided to download, or they don't like swiping because it's too time consuming, or they don't want to date online anymore because the men aren't marriage minded, or whatever it is. We've heard some of those similar things. Unfortunately, real connection requires inconvenience. What I mean by that is we cannot assume what their issues are and what their problems are. It's our responsibility to draw that out of them. So when we build in systems that ask questions about how they're really feeling and why they really chose those apps, instead of assuming why they chose those apps or why they're frustrated in using them.
Even if you heard it 100 times.
You've heard it 100 times every hour if you make enough calls during the day. It is important to unpack that, because when your leads admit to you that something isn't working for them and it's making them feel a certain way, they're also admitting to themselves that this is no longer an effective way to meet people. And that is a tick in the pros list. If they're making a pros and cons list to hiring you, that's going to be a vote for, I should do this.
This is amazing. Actually, very practical approach. And just about the scripts, I know exactly what you mean by memorizing scripts. Nobody should follow a script to the T, but the script is like, a movie role. You have to read the script that was written for the movie to happen. However, it's how you deliver it. It's always like all these nuances, the tonality, how you deliver, how you brief, how you look, how you gesture, body language, all of that. So there's so much you can do inside of that script or outside of that script, but it will always keep you like in the know. You will know where you're going with it, and it will give you like a good structure to rely on and keep it consistent, right? I think that's yeah.
Yes, because consistency allows you to track what's effective.
Yeah.
We're winning every single call. We have no way of tracking what was a good call and what wasn't. We can't make decisions in our business based on our mood or how we felt like something went, right? It's decisions based on data. And you can only track data if you have a system and a proven process.
And you keep improving it. And you
Correct.
Keep it.
That's right.
So let's leave the script point. I think if you don't have a script, you probably should start working on it. And if you would like to get so much experience, years of experience, Meghann can help you with this. I'm pretty sure, because you probably help clients sit down and to construct that script based on their business, based on their market niche, their expertise, services they offer. There's so much goes into script. It's not just some ABC type of cookie cutter approach. I'm pretty sure about that. So it's
That's right. It's also built in their communication style. So with my one-on-one training clients, I ask them to send me 3 to 5 calls prior to us meeting for the first time in the training series. And I listen to how they speak and what phrases they use in every single call, just to understand how they communicate with their leads, because how they speak with me versus how they talk to a prospect that they may be charging $50,000, $100,000, sometimes things change. So I like to hear them live and what's really going on. And then I develop the scripts based on their natural communication style and the intentions we need to get out of each section of a consultation.
That's why you can get results so quickly,
Correct.
in the first 90 days. It's really good. And maybe even faster than, I'm pretty sure even faster than that. Maybe 1 or 2 calls and they're already going to be feeling so much more confident.
Yes. And I give the entire framework in my group sales training program, which I do once a year for the month of December. I work with those clients over 4 weeks and I give them the entire framework that I give all my private training clients. I give it to you to develop, whereas with my private training clients, I do it for them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you couple of more things. I know that the season is already here, the festive season. We've got holidays coming up. What are your recommendations in terms of sailing appointments in this time of the year? Like, are there any tips you can give to our clients to deal with the sales in this time? Is it different than other times of the year?
Yeah. One of the reasons that I do my annual group sales training in the month of December is because the first 2 weeks of January are probably the 2 weeks of the year that matchmakers and date coaches get the most amount of leads. I actually think there's something called Dating Sunday, where dating apps are down. The day of the year that dating apps are downloaded the most is the Sunday after the New Year.
Crazy.
Which I love. I call them the New Year's resolution leads, and they're highly motivated. Maybe they just got their end of the year bonus check, by the way. So they're motivated and ready to make a change in their life. So it's really important for matchmakers and coaches to have their pitch and their consultation really locked and super solid prior to the beginning of the year. Now, in regards to selling in November and December, when leads can often say, a lot going on with the holidays, or I'm spending a lot on a holiday vacation for my family, or I'm spending a lot on gifts, whatever it may be. And they want to push this off because the holiday season tends to be where people think of others and want to give to others as opposed to investing in themselves. So this is where a really effective consultation is so crucial to have. And drumming up urgency, right? Urgency is just where you inspire your leads to feel like they need to make a change sooner than later. And so urgency is most important in the holiday season right now. And the way that we can do that, the best way to drum up urgency with these leads is First of all, remember that urgency is a salesperson's problem. It's not up to your leads to say, okay, this is, I've inquired, so that means it's a priority in my life. When they inquired with you, they just want some more information sometimes. So it's important in that call to really unpack exactly why they're considering a new method to meet people or support in their dating life. The only way that you can have a lead prioritize investing in themselves in this way, as opposed to having them, put it off to January, March, April, is by taking their problem and highlighting it. And we do that in those situation questions that I talked about a couple minutes ago. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or I don't know if you do show notes, but go ahead and jump back about 15, 20 minutes in this conversation and you'll hear exactly what I use to drum up urgency. Now, when somebody says they need to put it off, we do want to honor them. I'm not a sales trainer who pushes until you finally get the credit card number or you're giving your wire transfer information. It's important to honor where they're at. So just understand and say, I want to respect your timeline as well. Help me understand exactly what's happening in January that makes you feel like you need to start then. And then don't assume that it's a money objection. Don't assume it's I don't have time to date. Have them tell you exactly why they need to wait, because then we can break it down into little tiny objections that we need to overcome, be it money or timing, which actually is a wonderful segue, good job, to my freebie download. So I have something called the Ultimate Objection Diffusion Guide. It's on my website. It's a free download, and there are scripts, 15 pages of scripts where I help you unpack real reasons why people are slowing the sale down or having sales objections. So there's scripts there. You'll have to adapt it to your company, of course. And then there are about 2 or 3 additional pages on exactly how to use the guide and how to shift your tonalities. Again, as far as selling in the holiday season, your urgency and drumming up urgency, that's going to be your best friend. It's really important to hone in on that and perfect it so that you can close your year out with the numbers that you want, as opposed to pushing everything to January 15th.
Amazing. Let's just make sure everybody got it. So you have to go to novinskyconsulting.com. That's Novinski consulting.com. We're also going to have all the links below. And really on the first page, you just scroll a little bit down and you're going to see this.
I actually have a direct link for that, and my last name is spelled slightly different. So I'm going to just recap that. The place to find my Ultimate Objection Diffusing Guide is Novinskie Consulting, spelled Novinskie,
okay,
consulting.com/guide.
Okay, that's the actual link. We're going to put it also in the description. And
Perfect.
yeah, I apologize for the mistake.
No
I was
worries.
going too fast. I wanted to
That's
go.
all right.
So yeah, it's right there and you can download it. It's free. I can say it. It's a wonderful gift. Thank you for offering this gift to all of our viewers today. It's amazing. I think it's also timely. And what's the best way to reach out to you? On the website, I suppose, also?
Yep. The best way to reach me is on my website, again, novinskyconsulting.com. And if you're interested in conversation or deciding if my group sales training starting December 8th is a good fit for you, you're welcome to book a call with me. It's novinskyconsulting.com/book is the link to book a call with me. And the group sales training for any of your listeners and loyal followers here, Tim, they're going to get $1,000 off my group training program, which, like I said, I run once a year. We go 4 weeks. It's a live training, not a recording. And all listeners will also get additional time with me one-on-one for me to audit their script or listen to a couple calls with them. It's all included. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and book a call and I'll walk you through next steps.
Amazing. So again, another very nice gift, the $1,000 off. That's very nice. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure all of the listeners will appreciate that as well, because I mean, it's a special offer once in a year only, right? So it's a good time. All right. Well, let's wrap up. Everyone, you absolutely can reach out to Meghann via any links below. You can reach out to us if you have any questions. We can also help you out where to go, where to find information anytime. We work together. We're in the same industry, helping each other. So I wish you all the best in the holiday season, as well as, in the new year. It's coming soon. So I think that you guys will increase your chances to have a successful business revenue wise, sales wise here if you invest your time into improving sales skills. I think it's the still number one skill to possess in this business, in this business where it's growing, competition is happening, there is more and more services, more and more technology. So I think this skill is invaluable to have, and Meghann is the best one to reach her. So thank you so much, Meghann, for your time.
Thank you, Tim. Pleasure.
It's my pleasure to catch up with you, and after the nice Alliance conference especially.
Yes.
I just want to encourage everybody to use this opportunity and to improve your sales skills. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, Tim. Take care.